Greenway. The question is that the grievance be noted. I give the call to the member for Dobell.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. The Central Coast is immensely proud of our sporting talent and achievements, and Dobell is home to a strong sporting community. The people of Dobell have a passion for sport, which is evidenced in the many outstanding achievements of our sportsmen and women. From the Central Coast Mariners, champions of the A-League, to our local sporting champions, our sports stars of tomorrow, the Central Coast has an array of sportsmen and women who excel on the domestic and international stages. As a mother of 2 young rugby union players, I've had the experience of watching a child take the field and give their best to the game. I also know that sport has the unique quality of uniting communities, and when players take to the field and when families watch in the stand, we transcend the barriers that other times divide us. We should always celebrate the things in life that bring us together and unite us. As the member for Dobell, I've had the pleasure of getting to know many local players and the people behind our local sporting clubs. From rugby union to cricket, Aussie rules to swimming, league to equestrian, and everything in between, we have much to be proud of. Being involved in sport provides a sense of community, self-worth, and importantly, leads to active and healthy lifestyles. And I want to see more people provided opportunity to engage and excel in sport. And in order to provide these opportunities, it's important that we support our local sporting clubs and ensure that appropriate infrastructure is made available. This is why I'm determined and committed to delivering this Tuggerah Sports Precinct, which will enable the hosting of regional and national sporting tournaments, as well as relieving pressure on pre-existing local sports infrastructure. The development of this precinct would place the Central Coast as a strong contender to become the sports tourism capital of New South Wales, as well as promoting growth in tournaments such as the Central Coast Rugby Sevens and OzTag Championships. Held over this past weekend, the Central Coast Rugby Sevens is Australia's premier Rugby Sevens tournament outside the International World Series. The tournament featured international, national and club champions from Australia, New Zealand, Fiji, Canada, Brazil, Malaysia, Japan and the United States. Tournament director Craig Morgan has worked hard to promote equality between the men and women's tournaments, and as a result, the women's tournament featured one of the richest women's rugby tournaments in the world. And this year I was honoured to be appointed ambassador for the women's tournament, and I'm proud to advocate the need for equality in sport. Such as the significance of tournaments such as the Central Coast Rugby Sevens, I was privileged to welcome the Prime Minister to officially open this year's competition. And I hope that we can bring more tournaments of this size to the Central Coast, not only encouraging international talent to Australian shores, but also promoting the Central Coast as a choice destination for sporting competitions. And this will see a strong and prosperous tourism industry develop to underpin continued economic growth and job development. This year's Central Coast Rugby Sevens also provided opportunity for local sporting talent to compete against international stars. One of the most appealing elements of the tournament was the opportunity for locals to showcase their skills and talent in front of national selectors. The more we can encourage competitions of this calibre, the greater the opportunity for local sports champions to be discovered. Every weekend, local sporting participants take to our fields and demonstrate their talent, often dreaming of one day wearing our revered coat of arms and representing this great nation. Over the past year, I've had the pleasure of assisting these local sportsmen and women through the federal government's Local Sporting Champions program. This program has assisted many young sporting champions take part in overseas and interstate competitions. And many of these young sports people will no doubt follow in the footsteps of Central Coast sporting legends such as Olympian boxer Jai Opatea, rugby league David Fairley, triathlete Nicole Hackett, cricketers Alan Davidson and Nathan Brackham, rugby union Adam Ashley Cooper and Nathan Hines, netballer Alison Broadbent and baseballer Craig Anderson, to name just a few of our sporting legends. But it's not only our local sporting champions that are excelling on the world stage. In dance, Danielle Muir of Ourimbah has achieved a most outstanding ballet milestone. Danielle started dancing at age 2.5 with Marnie's Studio of Performing Arts on the Central Coast. Through hard work and dedication, she was one of only 16 girls worldwide to be offered a position at the Royal Ballet School in London. Danielle commenced at the Royal Ballet School aged 16 in September 2010 and graduated with honours in July 2013. She auditioned for the world-renowned Stratz Ballet Company in Berlin. Over 200 girls auditioned, and she was one of only 2 to be offered a contract. Danielle is the first Australian to ever be offered a contract with the company. And Danielle has quietly gone about her outstanding career with the love and support of her family, and her ultimate goal is to be a principal ballerina, and I wish her well in achieving this goal. These local and upcoming stars like Danielle have reached this stage in their aspiring careers with the strong support of family, friends, coaches, mentors and volunteers. The role of family and volunteers in grassroots sport can never be understated. From keeping score to manning the barbecue or washing the team kits, volunteers' time is every bit as important as the performance of the field. And I remember fondly many weekends spent at Warnervale and Wangara Ovals with members of the Warnervale Wildcat family. As well as being a supportive mother, I found myself helping in the running of the club. But this isn't a unique situation. It's shared by mums, dads, grandparents and communities Australia-wide. We do it to support our children and love for our community. And we are rewarded through on-field triumphs and the satisfaction of the young men and women who put it all on the line in the name of their beloved local club. Ethan Milne, Secretary of the Entrance District Cricket Club, exemplifies the commitment of a volunteer within a sporting club. A dedicated, community-minded individual, Ethan is also a member of Surf Lifesaving Central Coast. Not only is young Ethan professional in his approach, he has actively sought to improve his club on behalf of the entrance team and players by successfully applying for several grants. All levels of government are strong supporters of local sport. However, without the outstanding work of volunteers like young Ethan, our grants and funding would not deliver the benefits to sporting communities. My love for local sports and the pride it brings to us as a community hasn't wavered since being elected to Parliament. And I'm grateful to the Entrance District Cricket Club, the Warnervale Wildcats Club, Warnervale Wildcats Rugby Club and the Wangara Wildcats Football Club who have invited me to become a patron. Not only do our local sporting clubs excel on the field, they also play a strong role in our community by supporting and giving to worthwhile causes. The Warnervale Rugby Club earlier this season hosted a Black Dog Institute fundraiser, a day where the club turned orange to support the diagnosis, treatment and prevention of mood disorders such as depression and bipolar disorder. Now, this is an example of the contribution of local sports clubs that extend beyond the sports fields and into the broader community. And I've often spoken of the number of Central Coast residents who commute out of our region for employment. And unfortunately, many of these parents are unable to transport their children to and from sports training. Therefore, as a result, many children experience difficulty in accessing sport. The federal government's Active After School Communities provides primary school children with access to free sport participation after school. In Dobell alone, this program provides over 5,500 annual placements. Not only does the program engage children in sport through a positive and fun experience, it also allows children with both parents working or commuting the opportunity to participate in local sport. Earlier this year, I attended the Soccer 5 School Cup, which included students from over 10 schools on the Central Coast. Through the work of the Active After School Communities, these students were able to participate in Soccer Fives in a fun, safe and friendly environment. Another local organisation providing additional support to tomorrow's sports stars is the Central Coast Academy of Sport. Founded in 2004, the Academy is a non-profit sporting organisation that exists to provide locally based sports development opportunities for athletes, coaches, officials and administrators on the Central Coast. Overseen by Academy Director Mr Ian Rebillard, the Academy offers a total of 15 high-performance sporting programs. Recently, I had the privilege of attending the inaugural Women in Sports Luncheon, hosted by the Central Coast Sports Federation. The Central Coast Sports Federation for many years has been considered the voice of sport for the New South Wales Central Coast. President of the Federation, Mr Kevin Dewar, has been a strong advocate for the development and advancement of sport on the Central Coast for the benefit of Central Coast sporting organisations, facilities, community wellbeing and fitness. Both Kevin and Ian have been strong supporters of the need for new sporting infrastructure on the Central Coast and have accompanied me in advocating the need for the Tuggerah Sports Precinct. The pride of sport in the Central Coast is embodied within the Central Coast Mariners, who for 10 years have been a perennial force in the A-League competition. Often dismissed as the underdog to Sydney powerhouses, Sydney FC and the Western Sydney Wanderers, the Central Coast Mariners have consistently punched above their weight and demonstrated the strength of the Central Coast community. In their 10th year, the Mariners will again call upon the support of Central Coast locals as they challenge their second A-League championship. And I look forward to joining them as they demonstrate that the Central Coast is a force to be reckoned with in Australian football. From the Mariners to the local football club, I'm immensely proud of the sporting achievements of Central Coast locals and look forward to sharing their continued success with the House.
I thank the member for Dobell. The time for the grievance debate has expired. The debate is interrupted in accordance with Standing Order 192B. The debate is adjourned and